Hey, my name's Andy Tubman, aka SkinnyTubs, and also known in the Jane Does. And it's nice to see everybody today.
Thank you so much for being on BehindtheBirk sessions. It's a pleasure. Talk to me about the name SkinnyTubs. How did you get that name?
So it was just a nickname from high school. I was a little chunky when I was younger, and my last name's Tubman. So all throughout my childhood, people would call me Tubbs. Like, I didn't even know when I went to college, you know, when someone called me Andy, I didn't even turn around because it was just always Tubbs. And one friend, you know, with a little bit of irony in high school, called me SkinnyTubs as a nickname. So it kind of stuck.
So your friends called you Tubbs?
Yeah.
Not just like bullies?
Yeah, everybody did.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
prep school, you know.
So you embraced it.
Yeah, everybody needs a nickname in prep school. So,
yeah. Exactly. So where did you grow up?
In Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, on the other coast.
How was the music scene there growing up?
You know, I don't know, honestly. I missed the music scene there because I played baseball my whole life until college, and then I started playing music. So I only did a couple shows in Philadelphia, a little while, and then once I started playing and got some interest from folks, I moved to Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's when music really took off for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had some interest from some publishers while in Philadelphia. Just one heard me play at this little Philadelphia conference thing, and that started to roll a little bit, and you know, they suggested that I go and take a trip to Nashville and see what that vibe was, and it was pretty cool. And you know, somebody told me they liked the song, so I was like, "You do? Play more." So
yeah.
I played. You know, I went to Nashville, and everyone's playing with the guitar and really well, actually. You know, and had a really cool interaction with a bunch of like friends that I still remain friendly with today on that first trip. You know, so you know, really connected with some nice people and some really good musicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are your major musical inspirations? Like,
you know, since I didn't start to dive into music until later in life, I feel like I've kind of amplified, like my musical progressions kind of are like on speed. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
all of a sudden, like, you know, discover D'Angelo's Voodoo, and I'll like spend a year on that album.
Wow.
Right? And then, you know, somebody will turn me on to something, or I'll hear Peace Frog by the Doors, right? And I'll just live on that song. You know, the Jeff Buckleys of the world, that world is pretty cool. Chris Whitley, pretty dope. You know, like, so some of the darker, groovier, kind of sexy type stuff I like.
Yeah. What's your favorite Jeff Buckley song? I threw that in there.
I think it's not the most interesting or the smartest Jeff Buckley song, but I like Everybody Wants You. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
With the kind of like R&B groove to it. I think it's pretty. Yeah. Like really nice.
Yeah. So what's your inspiration for your pop inspiration for your songs?
I don't know. I guess maybe a phrase that has prosody, right? That has lilt to it. The phrase is kind of the germinal idea, and the lyrics, you know, coming from mostly very real emotional situations, right? I have, you know, obviously there's like a bunch of love and loss, but also in college, by trade, I'm trained as a music therapist.
Okay.
So I've worked in inpatient psych, brain trauma rehab, private practice with folks with neurological disorders, and so there are also I call them the behind the wall songs. They're you know, kind of therapeutic, influenced by therapy, right? Because when you're a music therapist, you don't create music for yourself with a patient, right? You're there as the conduit and to bring their musicality out for clinical goals. But you know, then you can kind of shift and change hats, and then, you know, use that energy, that creative energy, to kind of therapize yourself and to really fully express. But you don't do that. You don't mix the two. You know what I mean?
That's really interesting. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. How long have you been a music therapist?
Well, it's been, I don't know, since college, so 15 years.
That's awesome. I was a psychology major.
Nice.
So, yeah, for a long time. So how do you start the songwriting process for yourself? Like, do you sit down and just, like, with an idea, or do you just be like, okay, I'm going to write songs today, and then just go from there?
Yeah. My favorite songs are Dreamt.
Oh, okay.
I've got about 4. Because one, they're you know, like, there's a song I have a new album, and there's a song on there where actually I was in a venue. The funny thing is, it was in a gym where my dad.
The venue was in a gym?
Yeah, like so it was a dream, right? And so, like, my dad used to be a like an recreation administrator in Philadelphia, and it was in the little gym where these kids would play basketball. Anyway, but that's where the dream was, and Bill Withers was singing on stage. And the thing is a lot of times you'll hear this music and you think it's the greatest thing ever, and then you wake up and you forget it.
Yeah.
But a handful of times I've been able to remember, and I was able to wake up and, you know, write the whole song down.
Wow.
It was done.
That's awesome.
So that's good, because then you don't have to struggle with all the lyrics because it already is done. You just remember the majority of it.
Yeah. Oh,
so I like to write songs like that. You know, a lot of times, some of the better songs, I think, are the ones that I'm not using instruments to write the melody, right? If I'm, like, walking, because that way, you know, when you have a guitar or pianos and things, as most people are, like, you're kind of confined to your sensibilities and your facility, right? Like how good you are and how fluid you are on everything. And when you don't have those instruments, I think my ears open, and even harmonically, changing chords and stuff, I hear different things than I would if I was harmonizing it to guitars.
Wow.
And then I bring, you know, the kind of germinal idea and the germinal melody back to the instruments.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm like, I asked the question, but wow.
Yeah, you asked.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, there was a lot to process, though. So what's going on now? What's the future for SkinnyTubs?
Yeah. Well, you know, I was in a band, like I mentioned, the Jane Does, for a good while, and we did pretty well and had some, you know, some touring and some films. And then I got, you know, pretty swept up in music therapy technology stuff. And I still am, but I'm finally at the point now where I can really dive back into my own music. And for the last year or so, I've been recording an album that I'm really proud of. Recorded it in a bedroom, but with a pretty serious recording rig.
Yeah.
And a friend from Nashville flew out, who's like a badass engineer, flew out and we tweaked out, you know, the studio, and he's like, buy this compressor, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We really made it where sonically it's pretty pristine, I think. And so with that album coming out, I've been a lot more active, like sending out songs to music supervisors and film people, and just booked show 1 or 2 a month for the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And so really excited to play music again. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I think it took a real toll on me not playing music. So
Yeah.
back in, you know, starting to kind of, my mood is starting to elevate, and the songs
That's
are becoming
awesome.
a little lighter and a little faster.
Oh, okay. That's awesome that you noticed that. And yeah. Do you have a release date for that album? Or no?
A what?
A release date.
You know, I have 2 more songs to mix. Well, I'm not doing the mixing.
Yeah.
I mix everything, but then Kevin Szymanski in Nashville, who is just ridiculous. He is, you know, really doing final mixing and really putting things together for me. And we've got 2 more to do. He's about to get 1, and the other song is pretty much finished. Needs a little more work. So, hoping February.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty soon.
Pretty soon, yeah.
February, you know, February, March.
That's awesome.
Depending on, like, you know, what I can pull together. I just don't stress on it at this point.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's more about sending it out to, like I was saying, music supervisors. There's some folks, an artist from Nashville coming out to write with me next week. Right? So I do a lot of, like, kind of producing and writing and you know, not necessarily me as the superstar at this point, but like really keeping in music and being creative constantly.
Yeah. There's no date on creativity.
There's no date on creativity, really. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
made that up. But that's all my questions.
All right, this is called Gray. Between black and white in the frame, where colors burn and fade. Wish I could say this rainy day. As I watch you sleep, it wells up in me. The answer to the question why is lying by my side. Beauty lives in the gray, between black and white in the fray, where colors burn and fade. Wish I could save this day.
That's wonderful.
Cheers.
Yeah. Very nice.
And this is from the new album. The new album's called Ache for Strange. And this is one of the tracks on there. It's raining again. Seattle sky is gray. She always knows when my eyes reflect the day. On the move again. Phoenix, then Boston. Rocks and ride. Numb the night. And the road goes on. Another night alone. This hotel room is cold till I drift into her arms. Was warned about this place when more than time wrinkles my face. This grind ain't the price, but how long will she wait? And the road goes on. Another night alone. This hotel room is cold till I drift into her arms. And for a moment I am home.
Damn.